your contribution to this session. Thank you so much. So I'll start with today's questions. So today's questions, what I got that people say, what is the sequence of pranayam? What is the sequence of yoga? Or what is the sequence of yogasan? So there are certain rules, but definitely this is flexible. It is said that first you should start with Sukshma Yoga. That is very important, so that you will free up your body, you will free up your joints, and then you should go for asanas, then you should go for pranayam, and then you can go for shavasana or dhyan, dharana and dhyan. So that is a sequence which is said, and that is also a sequence given in Ashtanga Yoga. Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan and Samadhi. So that is a sequence. So our sequence could be same, but very important thing, if we don't follow that sequence, don't worry about it too much. To do it itself is very important. To do it 6 hours, after every 6 hours, it is recommended that pranayam should be done. Right? So sequence, it matters. It is a next step when you are doing heavy pranayam, heavy asanas, and you are contributing more than 1 to 2 hours, then I think that matters a lot. But apart from that, it won't matter what sequence you follow, because we are not doing pranayam to extend that we are actually getting a huge effect on it. But definitely if you try it more than half an hour, it matters, because your body should be compatible to pranayam. So you should have a clean body, you should have the warm body, and you should have a kind of energy in the body, so that you can support pranayam. It is recommended that you should not do pranayam when you wake up, you are actually sleepy and you are doing pranayam. This is not good. So there was a question that, can I do pranayam early morning immediately after the sleep? So my request, the answer is no. You can have first the warm up, you can have little bit of the asanas and then pranayam. Otherwise, when you wake up, your blood pressure is not that much high, and doing pranayam, it will shoot up your blood pressure, and that will cause challenges. So my request that you should first do warm up, then asanas, then do pranayam. So but this sequence is not given in any of the epics. It is by principles of our body which is decided, right? So, and that gives you the advantages. The second question which was there, that whether I should do Bhastrika first or Brahmari first, which pranayam I should do. So the answer is that, see, the sequence is according to the condition of the body and condition of the weather. So for example, if it is winter, you should go for Bhastrika as well as the Surya Bhedan pranayam or Ujjayi. So these are the 3 which are preferred. If it is summer, you should go for the Shitali, Shitkari and even Vayusar, sometimes the kriya, and you should go for the Shitkari and Shitali. The sequence doesn't matter. But if you are overdoing Shitali and Shitkari and you find that the body is too much warm and it's difficult, its perspiration is there, you can definitely go for the Shitali and Shitkari, and if it is too much of cold, you can go for the Surya Vedan and Ujjayi and the Bhastrika pranayam. So heat generating pranayam and heat cooling pranayams are there. Apart from that, there are 2 pranayam which is said that they can be done any point of time. So for example, the Anulom Vilom pranayam can be done any point of time, any time, because Anulom Vilom pranayam doesn't have any effect on your stomach muscles or intake muscles, or any effect So depending on your capacity, you should do Anulom Vilom Pranayam any point of time. So that is said. Pranayam as such, when it is done Sakumbhak, it should have rules. When it is done Kriya, it can have flexible rules. The Kriya doesn't have locks. We don't have locks, but for the Pranayam, Sakumbhak Pranayam, they have locks. So that has a more effect. So the sequence, it matters only your body condition or the weather condition or condition of the environment. That is important. Then somebody has asked question, can I do it after a meal, immediately after meal? Immediately after meal, Vajrasan and Vayusar, these are the two kriya which are recommended in yoga. But Pranayam, it is not said. The Anulom Vilom you can do it. Ujjayi said that it can be done. But after meal, other pranayams, even Kapalvati, is not recommended. But it is by logic. Because the stomach is filled and you cannot give jerks to your stomach after a meal. So that won't work. Vajrasan is the kriya which you should do after meal. Then there is a question whether can I do pranayam after running? Yes, you can do pranayam after running. It doesn't have any problem, provided you should take little bit of rest or shavasana. Immediately after running a marathon or after running a heavy distance, big distance, if you are doing pranayam, it may cause little bit of cramps or it may cause yawning. And that was one of the questions that after the pranayam, I immediately have yawning, a lot of yawning, and I feel sleepy. The reason for this, when you feel yawning, what does it mean? That the nerve which is responsible for yawning, or the krukal vayu which gets proliferated in the body, that nerve is getting activated by pranayam. Why it is getting activated? Because your breath out is much more longer, or holding is much more longer than that is expected to be by body, or beyond the capacity. So that is the reason that the yawning occur. Yawning is actually a reaction of the body for want of oxygen to suffice it. So if your want of oxygen is not getting sufficed, then the yawning is actually symptomized in the body. So our yawning is manifested in the body. You will ask the counter question to it, and naturally you should ask, then why pranayam is to be done? Because it will precipitate yawning. Anyway, in case of pranayam, we are actually giving our body less and less oxygen. There are papers on pranayam, the research papers, and one of the research paper I got it that the oxygen is responsible for actually combustion in the body. The oxygen is required for the combustion to extend, so that our body can exactly sustain on that fuel. So combustion is required, but over combustion is not required. That's why it is a very well established fact that the animal which takes or breath less number of time in a minute, they live longer and longer. You can see the elephant, or you can see the tortoise, they have very long life, and because they breath very less in a minute. And that is the principle of pranayam also, and you can have lots of research paper on that. There was a question that I am suffering from high BP, can I do pranayam? My request, you can do Shitali Shitkari, you can do a little bit of Ujjayi, but not very fast. You can also try to do Anulom Vilom, that is the best pranayam for you, but do not go for Surya Bedan, Bhastrika, or heavy Ujjayi pranayam. Right? So do not experiment with yourself unless and until your weight, your proper BMI, and your proper strength of the body retain. So, but definitely over the period of time, you can practice the pranayam, and you will find that your health is getting better and better. So that was a question. One question. One more question. That is, Shudhi kriya is essential for pranayam or not? So Shudhi kriya is essential because the when we do pranayam, you can say that it is a crown of the yoga, and it is a transferring your physical yoga to a mental yoga and your soul to the body. So here Shuddhi Kriya is very essential. A very good soul and very good mind cannot instill or exist in the torn or spoiled body or having a garbage. So Shuddhi Kriya, all Shat Kriyas are very important for pranayam. But if you cannot do these Shat Kriyas, better to do it partially at least, so that your body will actually respond to pranayam very heavily, very quickly. There is a question, I cannot lock the Moolabandh. So how should I keep myself for 16 seconds or 32 seconds? I'm not able to do. It's a matter of practice. So because in our body there are voluntary muscles and involuntary muscles. Involuntary muscles, like muscles of the heart, we don't have any control over it. But voluntary muscles, where the voluntary innervations of the nerves are there, these can be definitely pulled up, pushed, or this can be retracted or protracted. So there are voluntary innervations in the anal genital muscles, and we don't use it. And these are generally used by the adrenergic system of the body, which is a part of the autonomous system of the body, and these are used during fright, flight, and very high excitation. So the body uses them for purpose of actually when there is an emergency. But it is said that these muscles, when they are used in emergency, if they are used explicitly by ourselves, then we get a huge advantage out of it. So you will require a kind of practice to make their use. One more question was there: what is the difference between kriya and pranayam? There are so many versions. I got it. You will get the versions because in the epics they have given the directions, they have given the concepts, and you will find epics are there for conceptual thing. It is said that in Upanishad also, that when you do pranayam, you will come to know what is the best for the body and what is not best for the body, what is not better for the body. That you will come to know. So as a result of it, it is a direction. Basically, you will find there was a question that some people, they say that Plavini pranayam, I should not do my hands up, I should keep it like this. So how can I do Plavini pranayam? Different ways. Both the ways they are correct, because in some of the discussions which are there, which are drawn from epic, they say that you can keep your hands up, or you can actually use it when you will actually do Matsyasan over the water. So Plavini pranayam can be done with the yoga mudra, it can be done without the yoga mudra, or just keeping your hands at the top or elbows at the top of your top notch of the head. So very important point is to do nirantar, to connect yourself to this, particularly to the yoga every day, rather than getting an accuracy of it. The consistency will give you accuracy. So with this, I'll just open this forum. We'll do our Sukshma Yoga first for setting up our lotus, and you can ask the questions in between so that I can get the direction for your questions. I kept you penning your questions for last many almost 20 sessions, but let's start with the questions. So you can just unmute yourself and ask the questions. If I get the answer, definitely I will disclose the answer. If I don't have an answer, I will get back to you definitely. So by that time, let's start simultaneously Sukshma Yoga for our legs, and you can put your video on so that we all can get the question. We all can feel the questions, and we can get the answer of it. So let's start with the Sukshma Yoga. So let's rotate our legs. Rotate our ankle, right from the ankle. Keep the ankle or the sole in groin. Hold your leg in your hand and move it parallelly. Try to keep your backbone as straight as possible. There was a question that I cannot hold my hand, my leg in my hand. That's fine. If you can hold it this way, it's okay. This way, it's okay, because we have to go towards the perfection, but with consistency. So consistency is very important than doing the yoga perfectly first time. We are not here for applying the Kaizen principle to the body. Body work on the optimization principle, and every day if we do yoga, we'll get the perfection. Let's do it with the other leg. Let's rotate it. Let's rotate 5 times in the clockwise direction, 5 times in the anti-clockwise direction. Let's keep the foot in the groin and try to move the leg up and down. Try to touch your knee to the floor. Keep your backbone as straight as possible. Hold the leg and parallelly move the leg parallel to the body. The whole stretching should be on tummy. Hold it. Try to touch to the top notch of the head. Okay. Do not overdo. It may cause challenges. And let's try butterfly. Try to bring it closer and closer. More you give pains in butterfly to your thighs and your tummy as well as your knees, you'll find that it is better and better to set your lotus easier and easier. So let's set lotus. Any question you can definitely ask. So there was a question about kriya and sakumbhak pranayam. So the answer for this is, when we do kriya, the kriya is without any kumbhak. So for example, whatever generally we got on the media, they are just kriyas. What we learned is sakumbhak pranayam. So for example, if I would like to do anulom vilom kriya, that is finished. So I have not hold it. So that is a kriya. But when we actually inhale and we lock the mool bandh, we lock jalandhar bandh, that is a sakumbhak pranayam. There is a third level of pranayam, that is with mahabandh. So here when we do our pranayam, we have jalandhar bandh, we have the mool bandh, then we also have the uddyan bandh. So in case of uddyan bandh, we actually pull the tummy inside. So when we take a deep breath, then locking the anus with the mool bandh, locking the Vishuddhi chakra and pulling our tummy in. All these three things, they actually, a combination is known as mahabandh. So this mahabandh, basically it compresses the air in the body. What you can imagine it. It's not actually compressing the air, but you can imagine that it is compressing the air, pushing the oxygen inside the body, and which gives you a very different way of handling your body, more controls you will have on your body. You will actually energize yourself when you go to the open air. So that way, with Mahabandh, Sakumbhak Pranayam is done. And Sakumbhak Pranayam, definitely your body should be fit. So we have not done with Mahabandh, because in case there are mixed people are there, and Mahabandh Pranayam may cause them challenges. The another question which I got, that I have severe headache, yawning. So if we perform beyond our capacity, then there will be headache, there will be yawning. Definitely. I told you the reason of yawning. Headache, the reason is that we are giving less and less oxygen to our brain, but the brain gets tend to survive in particularly in less oxygen. A very delta oxygen is less. It's not like that it is a hypoxia. It is not a hypoxia. It is very delta oxygen which is less, which is very infinitely less oxygen is available to the brain than actually required. But brain has a capacity to survive in that particular amount of oxygen also. Plus it develops a capacity so that it can work well and better. But when you have actually very less capacity, you are overdoing the pranayam and your brain is not getting the oxygen, proper oxygen, you are overdoing beyond your capacity. As a result of it, there is a shoot up of blood pressure in the brain, and there is a throbbing which occur, and because of this throbbing there is a headache. So there are two remedies for this. If you have headache, better to start with Anulom Vilom immediately. Don't hold. So you start with Anulom Vilom kriya. So whenever you have any challenges in nervous system, let's go for Anulom Vilom kriya. That is one thing. Then second, you should have a firm Vishuddhi chakra or the Jalandhar Bandh or the throat lock. So your throat lock is not proper, and that's why there is a headache. So for example, if you are doing a Kevali Pranayam, breathe in, throat lock. If this throat lock is loose, then you will find you will have a headache, right? So throat lock should be proper and proper. The third thing is that whenever you breathe in, whenever you do pranayam, and if you have a headache, try to keep yourself with a straight backbone. Take 2 or 3 deep breaths, breathe in and breathe out. During breath, do not move your head. Our movement of head is also related to our headache, right? So don't try to move your head. Another thing is, there will be a position where your headache will shoot up more and more. So my request that whenever you do pranayam, do not let that head in that particular position where it actually shoot up your headache. So those are some of the remedies for particularly for the headache which occurs during the pranayam. So ideally there should not be any headache. There was a question that I am doing Kapalbhati, and after Kapalbhati I feel that this is not a Shudhi kriya. I feel literally nauseating and the tired. So the reason here, this Shudhi kriya you are doing with overdoing it. In Kapalbhati, this is generally the customary to breathe out half and breathe in half. Kapalbhati does not mean that I should breathe out completely. No, the breathe out is always slower. In case of pranayam, it will be complete breathe out. In case of Kapalbhati, it will be half breathe out. It will be so still the air should be there because I can breathe out. So that much air should be there during Kapalbhati. So Kapalbhati is actually based on the principle that you are 50% breathing it out. 50% breathing it out, and you are taking 50% breath in. If you feel after Kapalbhati that nothing has happened, it means that you are doing a very shallow Kapalbhati. If you are feeling that you are exhausted and you need oxygen, it means that the Kapalbhati is not done, it is done overdone actually Kapalbhati. Or you can say that it is too much of Kapalbhati is done with the exhaustion, lot of active exhaustion is there and very less inhalation. If you do lot of active exhaling of air and inhalation is not proper, that will lead to actually a kind of unconscious feeling or tiredness. After Kapalbhati, you should feel very enthusiastic. You should feel that you got the oxygen mask in last 2 or 3 minutes. So that is the way the Kapalbhati should be done. So those are the questions, some of the questions which I got here. One more question was that I'm not able to sit in the Padmasana lotus. Should I continue pranayam? My request, every day you try to do the Sukshma yoga which are required for pranayam and lotus, which are required for lotus, and then I'm sure over the period of time you will able to set the lotus, but you can continue the pranayam without bandha. Okay, but try to set the mula bandha, very important. So that's why it is say yuva vruddho ati vruddho va vyadito durbalo piva. Anybody can do actually, but provided it should be consistent. So any questions? Today we have just had a question. So any question from your side? So we refrain from the questions in the session because we want that you should get the effect out of it. You should get the complete practice out of it, and that's why we have set the session, complete session for the questions only. So one more question was there that I'm not able to hold it till 16 or 32. My request is do as per your capacity. Even if you can do it for 2, 8 and 4, that is also fine. Slowly increase it. Okay, let's set our mool bandh. Let's take a deep breath. Close your eyes. Let's imagine the mool bandh, Mooladhara chakra. Take a deep breath. Imagine that from Mooladhara chakra, slowly the energy is coming up. Swadhisthana chakra above it. Above that, there is a Manipur chakra. Near the heart, Anahata chakra. Yellow in color. Above it, Vishuddhi chakra, throat. Imagine your energy is coming up. Come to the Ajna chakra. Keep your breathing slowly. Keep your mool bandha set. Just behind the top notch of the head, there is a Sahasrara chakra towards the back side. Just imagine all the chakras, they are getting entangled to channelize the energy from Mooladhara chakra to Sahasrara chakra. Rub your palms. Rub them on the face. Slowly, with a commitment to pranayam and health, open your eyes. Thank you so much. Thank you for attending this. We have just today have a question answer session, but needless to say that you have set almost 20 minutes of lotus, which itself is a very big thing, right? So in discussion itself we have done the yoga. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, friends. Please advise your suggestions in comment box.